Hi, welcome back to the channel. All's fair in toys, pop culture, and movies. Does anybody remember in 1979 at Disneyland in their Main Street windows, they actually had black hole displays for promotional material? They had the diorama of the inside of the spaceship. They had dolls of Dr. Reinhardt and some of the crew and the robots and my imagination was captured. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but that made a huge impact on me to see all those displays. Plus, as a kid, I loved toys. This is a 1979 Maximillian from Mego, which didn't sell too well. I think they were trying to capitalize on the success of Star Wars, but that didn't go as planned. But the first time I saw the black hole was at school, in elementary school. They decided to do a movie day. They herded all the kids into the auditorium, and where they usually show whatever presentation, informational thing that, for the kids, they had the old 16 millimeter reel to reel of the black hole, and they projected that up there. And being with your friends and then going to lunch and talking about it, I thought that was fantastic. It was a lot darker than Star Wars, and it was just a very gothic feeling movie, a little slow paced, a little moody, but I just really loved it going forward. And the movie club, when it existed, Disney Movie Club, did a Blu-ray, and it's a fantastic Blu-ray, very clear. I also have the DVD, and this is actually superior to the DVD, but the Blu-ray is about as high definition as we're going to get from Disney since their movie club went under. Sony picked up the distribution rights. So I'm really hoping at some point that we get a 4K restoration, because the effects really deserve it. I know they're not Star Wars with spaceships zipping around, but they have this rich texture and that really dense star field. And the Cygnus, which has that great, almost like the Eiffel Tower. It's all wire and mesh, and you've got the inside too has that weird wire mesh thing, and some of the walls are vibrating back and forth as the ship is falling apart. And to this day, I'm not 100% sure if this is because just they decided to shake the sets that they didn't plan on shaking that were flimsy anyway. But it's unique. It's definitely one of those unique experiences. But also, to go a little bit deeper into the movie, I also have the novelization here that Alan Dean Foster did. And I read this recently, and it's pretty much the same, except you have a larger section at the opening for the characters to really get to know the characters. And Harry Booth, who's played by Ernest Borgnine of the Poseidon Adventure, and we'll talk about that in a moment, he is a journalist. And I did not get that from watching the movie. You get a good idea of it from here, where he's going through documenting. He's like, oh, this ship, it's going to be the story of a lifetime. So this is it's almost like his story in a weird way, because he's disappointed that they've been looking for alien life and they failed, and now they found this thing, and he's like, oh, I'm going to get my story. But the ending too is a little bit, it doesn't really answer any questions, because I know that the movie ends with that angel leading him through, and then you've got Dr. Reinhardt and Maximilian merged together in hell, or what looks like hell. But this doesn't really explain any more of that. It's just kind of ends pretty much the same way. But then the Poseidon Adventure brings me back to the origins of this movie, which a lot of people say, well, Star Wars came out, so Disney was like, let's capitalize on that. And that's sort of true. But it was mainly something that they had in development from the days of the disaster movies, from the days of the Poseidon Adventure. It was like their own Poseidon Adventure in space. a derelict ship is just adrift, and people on board need to be rescued, and there's been a big catastrophe. But then when Star Wars it comes out, and Disney's like, hey, let's switch gears. Let's put some more action and lasers and robots, so you get that. Yeah, you're definitely mimicking Star Wars a bit here. But with the robots, and I picked these up somewhat recently. And these robots remind me a lot of the scale of the Disneyland Main Street windows. Maximillian, you've got Vincent and Old Bob. So that's why I really like these, is because they're just super detailed, about that doll size scale. And sometimes I feel like, these robots, I know they're inspired by Star Wars, and a little cutesy over here, and he's got that, kind of imperial menace that a lot of the troops had in Star Wars. But I kind of feel like they nailed something really cool here with the aesthetics, and I sometimes think I'm, maybe like these robots a little bit better. I know. But that's my super short memories of the black hole. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.